Hey, what's going on, good people? Today we're going to talk about blended families. Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of a movement called Men to Heal, which focuses on men's overall wellness, mental health, physical health, and of course, the emotional health. And I'm also the author of a book called Man Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planner guide for boys and men to better express themselves. I definitely want to continue to appreciate everybody who went out and got them a copy, including my parents who got this for their teen sons, my spouses who got this book for their partner during these tough conversations over dinner and date nights. I definitely appreciate you, and salute to my fellow clinicians who got this in their lobby or doing interventions during their sessions. I definitely appreciate you, and a big, huge shout out and congratulations and salute to the fellows who are constantly buying this tool to enhance their lives, to learn new things, to develop in certain areas. I definitely appreciate it. And if you want a copy of the book, definitely be sure to go to Barnes& and Nobles, Amazon, Target, Walmart, pretty much anywhere books are sold, including my website, mentoheal.com, www.mentoheal.com. And if you're new to my YouTube, I definitely appreciate you. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Send me some questions, do whatever you have to do, and I definitely appreciate everybody who helped me get monetized. I don't take it for granted or take it lightly. I definitely appreciate you for tuning in time after time to observe the content that I bring, whether it's me individually or if I have a guest. So I definitely appreciate you. So continue to like, share, subscribe. Now, when we talk about blended families, this is something that's important because I am within a blended family. So I just wanted to bring you some information and tips and things like that, because I know I get a lot of questions asked surrounding from fathers who are in their child lives or not in their child lives or whatever the case is. So I definitely want to ensure that I'm doing my due diligence and touching on all those topics. So when you're like in a situation, you're remarrying or including the children from a previous relationship, that's considered a blended family. And believe it or not, it definitely takes time to adjust. Former blended families, also known as step families or stepchildren or whatever the case is, those things can happen organically. You should want them to happen organically. And I believe the Census Bureau did a study last year in 2020, since the pandemic, everybody was home with their families, whether it was blended or not. And about 15% of children live in blended families. That's what the study concluded. You and your partner make a life together with your children from a previous relationship, whether you was married or dating somebody or just had children with them, and now you're in this new relationship with your current partner and his or her children. So those things are blended. You're now one. Blended family can be a rewarding process as well as a challenging experience depending on how you take it. Because there might be some issues with that other parent, the other biological parent. It may be some issues within the nucleus of how you and your partner want to raise the children now. So, all those things have challenges, but it can be rewarding because now you got to put your own impact on this developing child, So try to make a blended family as beneficial as you can to not only yourself, but of course that child for that experience. But trying to make a blended family a replica of the first family that you had may create issues for you. So you might want to get with your current partner and start fresh and figure out how you guys are going to work this thing together. Because it also can set up family members to have some type of confusion or frustration or resentment or disappointment in this new situation. So instead, try to embrace the differences and consider the basic elements that you guys can successfully do together. Those things are definitely beneficial. Communicate everything, including this communication should be with your children as well. Now, communicate with them on a level that they'll understand wherever they are cognitively, but you definitely want to include them so they wouldn't feel like they're not included when they come to this specific family's home. When they go to the other parent home, they included, or they're not included. So you definitely want to ensure that you're being consistent and setting that standard. So a solid commitment can help you do that. So without the commitment, there's really not a family aspect to it. You want to show up, you want to provide insight, detail, you want to be there for the young one, because it's definitely important. It's harder to take care of a relationship in a blended family because you don't have time to adjust. Like the couples in most relationship, especially with the biologicals, they potentially grew up, they raised that child together or whatever the case. So, and now in this blended situation, you have to be that go-to, that disciplinary, that person for advice, that person for tips, pick the kids up from school, whatever it is. So you definitely have to ensure that you have a solid commitment, not only with your partner, but with the children as well. You will have to grow and mature into this relationship while you're parenting, so those things are definitely important. And I would definitely suggest to be civil. If the family members can act civil towards each other, it'll definitely assist on a regular basis of you forming this bond, this cohesiveness with the new family. Rather than ignoring on purpose, trying to hurt the other parent, being spiteful, completely withdrawing from one another, those things can create issues, and the child will feel like they are the cause of that. They'll feel like it's their fault that the biological parent separated. So you definitely want to ensure that as a step parent, you're playing your position. You're being civil. You're not being cantankerous if the biological parent wants to be active in his child's life. But figure that dynamic out with your partner as best you can. Do what's best for you and your household. I'm only giving suggestions, so make sure that you take it and apply what's needed. All relationships definitely need to be respectful, though. This is not just referring to the kids and our behavior towards adults. Respect should be given and not based on age or based on the fact that you are in a family, a different family now. It should be, overall respect. It should be respect from both the parents, whether that's the biological step parent and the two step parents and the two biologicals or whatever. Like everybody should respect each other in that dynamic. And to be real with you, like fellas, I'm gonna talk to you directly on this one. Like this also includes respecting the mother of your children from the previous relationship. Like things happen, things transpire, you two no longer get along, you two are not cordial or whatever, but respect still should be there, whether that's communicating solely for the purposes of the child. Those things are definitely beneficial and can happen. So whether you need to do that between you and the partner, or if you need to get the courts involved, but do what's best for you, but don't not be there for your child based on the relationship that you had with that mom. By not being in agreement, different things can happen. You can stress you out. It can stress out your new relationship. It can have your child feeling like it was their fault, or having more guilt towards the situation and developing resentment towards you and your new partner because you guys interact so peacefully and so cordially, but my biological mom and dad can't seem to get along. Like, what's going on? So definitely you want to ensure that everybody's being respected. Now, listen, I'm not asking you or suggesting that you and your biological co-parent be best friends and do all this other stuff. I'm just suggesting and making sure that you understand that it's okay to be cordial with your co-parent just for the children's sake. Because the children are spawns, they developing, they seeing these relationships form, they seeing this development, and believe it or not, they're developing from the actions of you and how you react to each of those members, whether it's the biological parent or your new partner, the step parent. Have some compassion when you're within those relationships as well. Members of the blended family may be at various life stages and have different needs. So, whether you got a teen and a toddler coming in, such a huge age gap, or you got sons and now you got a daughter coming in, or vice versa, all those things are important. Or if you are in a same-sex relationship now, or if you in a interracial relationship now, all of those things are important as a family dynamic, so they must be able to accept this family at the different stages, especially with this new family. Family members need to continue to understand and honor those differences of the new family. So it's going to take a lot of communication, a lot of effective communication, a lot of understanding, a lot of compassion. So make sure you're putting yourself in a position to do that. So too many changes at one can be unsettling for the children. So you definitely have to have room to grow. A lot of people don't feel like they still can grow. They feel like they hit a ceiling or they plateau within a relationship. So it's definitely important that you continue to grow and excel within your relationship, as well as now your new duties and roles and responsibilities as a step parent. So after a few years of being in a blended family, like hopefully the family will grow, and members of the family will choose to spend more time together, feel closer, just interact on a different level, because you are my family now. Our parents been together forever, or our children now consider each other siblings, however your dynamic is. To give yourself the best chance of success in creating a blended family, it's important to start planning how the family will function before the relationship or in this new relationship. Like prior to it taking place, you got to get with your partner and say, hey, listen, I have children with somebody else, or you have children with somebody else. This is how we're going to raise children here. Or what do I need to do to support you in raising your child, vice versa, because you might not have children, or they might not have children to come in. So you have to say, hey, this is how I want you to support me in raising my child, so those things can definitely be beneficial even before you guys continue to move further, because things happen. Like your child might not adjust right away to this co-parent, or you might not adjust right away to this child. So those things are definitely important. So have those tough conversations, and you definitely want to do that way before, so it can, prevent certain issues. After having survived the divorce or the breakup or the separation, you manage to find, this new loving relationship. So if it's good to you, then potentially it's good to your children. So you definitely want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, but don't rush into those situations. Them blended families takes time. First lay out a solid foundation. Do what's best for you in those situations, but then make sure that your children are safe as well in those situations. Definitely give everyone a chance to get used to each other and the idea of forming this new family, because it can be a situation to where the other biological parent traumatized your child, or was overly aggressive, or just was mean, or just not as structured, or just not as disciplined. So now coming into this new relationship with this parent that's there, that's caring, that's nurturing, it's going to be an adjustment for the child. Or you probably was in a trauma bond situation or abusive domestic situation, whether emotional or physical, and it's going to take you to get used to somebody else nurturing and loving you as well. So a lot of dynamics can happen within this blended family situation. So don't expect to fall in love with your parent, with your partner's child overnight. Don't expect them to fall in love with you right away either. So it can go both ways. I'll do a separate video for the step parent and child relationship, because I think that's important too, and I don't want to drag this video on. I'd much rather separate it so you can get the twofold based on that. So, but you definitely want to put yourself in a position to make sure that you're getting to know them. You're not just with that parent, with their parent. You're with the child now too. It's like a package deal. I know you probably seen those posts on social media. So love and affection and take time to develop. Of course it does. So you have to put yourself in a position that you're open-minded, that you're going in with a clear mind. You're not going in it as, oh man, they got teenagers, this is going to be hard, or they got toddlers, I'm not ready to change. No, this is what you signed up for, basically, unless you and this partner establish boundaries and roles and responsibilities even before, because that partner might say, hey, I want you hands off on my kid. I know that you will want to do X, Y, Z, but I'm cool if you don't, So, hey, that's, again, communication between you and your partner. You don't know that biological parent treated them or didn't treat them, so you will have to ask that just to make sure that the safety is taken care of, not only for them, but for you and as your partner, the other parent of this biological parent. So find ways to experience real life together, whether that's taking both set of kids to amusement parks or game nights, or doing different things, like helping both kids with the homework, or each child within that family as an equal, treating people right, try to get them used to the partner, and their daily routine. Have family nights again, like date nights. I know we do a significant amount of stuff. We get their opinion, get their ideas, and we do it as a family. One family. One-on-one time with each child is definitely important. Gaining that trust is probably the biggest thing, because again, like, they might not want to open up to you immediately, and you might not want to open up to them immediately. So you definitely have to stage it, pace it, continue to, like, be authentically you, so they can be drawn to that, and they'll know, like, oh yeah, this person is cool, or I need more time to adjust to this person. So definitely put yourself in a position of that. But again, like, respect is big. You can't insist people on liking each other, but you definitely can insist that people treat each other with respect, and that's everybody within the dynamic. That's the step parent, the stepchild, the biological parent, the biological children. Like, everybody should be on the level of respecting each other, because at the end of the day, it's about nurturing and supporting and raising a healthy family, opposed to a poor dynamic based on your ego or your pride or just your resentment. Of course, blended families can be challenging. So as you, like, have a blended family, difference in parenting styles may arise, difference in disciplining may arise, like lifestyle changes may even happen. You can create challenges and become a source of frustration for your children, and that's not what you want. So agreeing on consistent guidelines about rules, chores, discipline, even allowances, so we'll show you that your child and your spouse intend to deal with issues in a similar, fair way. Again, because my house might be different than when she go home, or when your child go home, or vice versa. So those things are definitely important to have. Or if I was treating my daughter a certain way, and now the stepchild is used to getting treated a different way, like, we got to figure out how to get on the same page with those things. And of course, yes, it could be challenging if this previous child didn't have chores when it was just her and mom, or her and dad. But now in your home, it's, your kid had chores. Your kid got up at 8 in the morning and does baseboards, and or did homework before they ate dinner, or whatever the course is. So those things are, yes, gonna be frustrating and an adjustment, but everybody has to be on the same page. They may need to do it differently at a one parent house than the other home, because again, the biological parent got their own set of rules when they get there. So you definitely want to ensure that it can work for you guys. But again, also too, you might run into a situation where one parent is inexperienced. So one step parent may have children or never been a parent before, and therefore, those experiences in different stages may even be different. So if I have a child and I'm dating a young lady who doesn't have children, and now we're together, that can be a whole new stressful situation for her in itself. So that's why it's definitely important. Or vice versa, those situations can be stressful. I think you get it by now from what I'm saying. So changing in a family relationship is definitely critical. So if both parents remarry partners with existing families, it can mean that the children suddenly find themselves in different roles within that blended family. So listen, like, one child may be the oldest in the biological parent house, but when they get to the step parent house, they're the youngest, or they're in the middle. So that's an adjustment for that child. Or your child may be a girl, but with the blended family, she may be it may be all boys there. So whatever the case is. So those things can definitely be differences and challenges for your children as well. So blended families may also one child feel that they will lose their uniqueness within the significance of your life. So if, like, I have one daughter, but now I have a stepdaughter. So it's two, so now, is it fighting for attention? Is it all the extra stuff, or is it just adjusting? And I didn't want either of the young ladies to feel that way, so had to make it work. Coping with demands of others is definitely important. In blended families, parenting and family events can get complicated, especially when you're in this custody situation. Like if you don't have a custody agreement in order, or if you do have a custody agreement in order, you just got to make sure that it's communicated with the biological parent as well as your new partner, the step parent. Because children can grow frustrated. Like if you want to take a vacation, or go to parties or weekend trips that may require a different time limit. So, like if I want to take my family on a vacation, but her dad, like if it's not communicated effectively or it's not a certain order, her dad want to do some stuff like that. That can create an issue if it's not communicated, or if just different things, especially like on weekends and stuff like that. Because more than likely it's an every other weekend type situation. So you might run into some issues. So you definitely want to ensure that you're communicating that. And it could be difficult without that custody agreement or that order between the two parents. But just make sure everybody's on the same page, because again, you don't want that child to feel like they can do like you don't want to have them to feel like they're putting the parents against each other. So it can definitely be challenging, especially when you're establishing family traditions as well. So most families have a difficult idea about the annual events, whether it's holidays or birthdays or, again, family vacations. Like here, let's just say they don't do Christmas, but at the other parent house, they do Christmas, or vice versa. So now, like, do they want to come over still because they don't do traditional Christmas here? So, so those things have to be communicated. Kids may feel resentment if they're not forced to get along with somebody that they don't normally bond with. So, just pace yourself, because they may not, again, adjust to that, your new partner as rapidly as you would want them to. Or vice versa. Your partner may not adapt to them as rapidly as you want them to either. So, it's all good though. You definitely want to ensure that you're putting yourself in a position to be successful as a family, not just as a individual. Try to find some common ground between creating new traditions for not only your family, but as the entire blended family process. And there definitely can be some parental insecurities within that. So a step parent may even feel anxious about how they compare to the biological parent, or they might grow resentment in the stepchild, compare them unfavorably to the biological parent. My dad would never do this, or my dad would do this, or whatever. My mom don't talk to me like that, or my mom helped with my home. So those things, you don't want to be in that position to where now it's a competition between the biologicals and the steps. So don't put yourself in that position. So try to make sure that it's understood that family should be safe, nurtured, and secure. You definitely want to continue to work on strengthening your family bond, because those things are definitely important. Establishing trust is a critical process in creating a strong, cohesive family blended together. Children may feel uncertain about their new family, resist efforts to get to know each other, whether that's get to know the other siblings, the new siblings, or the new partner, the step parent. This is often simply apprehension because, of course, a lot of people don't want to meet new people, especially if they feel like it's going to take away from the dynamic of their biological parent situation. Try not to take a negative attitude towards that, and don't take it so personal. You got to remember, the child is still learning and growing and feeling like, yeah, you supposed to be with my parent, my biological parent forever. What are you introducing me to this new person for? You may even get that. So those things have to be understood and expressed. So don't take it personal. This child is adapting, and you are adapting. Your new partner is probably adapting as well. So create clear boundaries though. Establish a step parent is more of a friend, counselor, rather than a disciplinary. Don't be just the disciplinary. You have to be all those things. You have to create that safety. Let the biological parent remain the primary responsibility for the discipline, and so you can develop a solid bond, unless your new partner is communicating all that. So definitely you want to put yourself in a position to do that, and let them know you're not trying to replace or set out to help them forget their real biological parent. You just trying to be there if they need anything, and you're in a relationship with their other parent, basically. So create a list of family rules. You guys establish those things together. And that can be beneficial when you're doing family time. Discuss the rules with the children and post them in like a prominent place, whether that's on the fridge or they post them on the mirror in their bathroom or however you need to do it. Understand what the rules are and boundaries are will assist them in like adjusting and developing what needs to be while they within your home. Again, you want to make sure that you're doing what's best for the relationship. Each dynamic is different. Some are more rapid than others. Some take longer than others. Some are still issues from the two biological parents, and now your partner has an issue. So a lot of dynamics take time and can happen differently at different places. So involve the other parent based on the need to know, but don't purposely exclude them. I know some parents out there be like, well, you can take them, but I'm not gonna let his dad know, or vice versa. Like that can create an issue because now what if dad shows up? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is this man? You know, so those things create issues. So it's okay to communicate, hey, little Johnny is going to dance practice and Mike is going to take him. My boyfriend, my fiance, my new husband going to take him or whatever. Those things have to be communicated just so it's no issue and it doesn't look like you're trying to sneak around, because people got like those things that they want to be involved with, you know. So don't use the children as a weapon either. You know, of course you probably heard so many stories of bitter baby moms or whatever the case is. Who knows? But you don't want to be in that situation. Support your new partner as they try to build with your kids, you know. So make it a seamless process as possible as you can. Support the kids as they try to build with your new partner. You want to encourage those things. You want to support and allow that to foster and nurture organically. So you definitely want to be a part of that. If you got any questions, make sure you send them to me, whether email, social media, inboxes, or whatever. Make sure you like, share, support. Definitely appreciate you. That was a video on blended families. And again, I'm going to do a video coming up on stepchildren, you know, blended families, like you as a step parent and a child trying to, you know, deal with you. So I definitely think that'll be beneficial as well. So make sure you catch me on the next one.